Welcome to the Overflow Worship Podcast, where we serve and support leaders so you can serve and support your local church.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Overflow Worship Podcast. I'm your host, Andrea Olson. Well, we've been doing a really fun thing this September and releasing bonus episodes. So you're getting something from us every single Monday in September and the first week of October because we're leading up to the Overflow Worship Conference. And so we want to give you guys some extra conversations, extra content to get you excited about the conference. Now, if you do not have your tickets yet, we still have space for you. Overflowworship.com. And guys, if you're not familiar with the conference, it is just such an incredible opportunity to get away, to take a step back and really just be in the presence of the Lord and be quiet before Him and maybe get a change of perspective, because that change of pace plus change of place equals change of perspective. And we begin to see things in a different light and maybe hear things from the Lord that we wouldn't have if we were in our same environment. And, I had a conversation with one of our speakers a little while back, and he was talking about this greenhouse effect where, when we come with expectation and we put ourselves in an environment of growth, like a conference, there is huge amounts of just beauty and growth that happens because it's like a greenhouse. It's like God's greenhouse. And so I just encourage you to make the time to take the step and grab your tickets. And, there's sometimes a little bit of confusion for people about, is this something I have to go to with my whole team? Explain that to me. And so I just take a second here and tell you that no, you do not have to come with your entire team. That's really how we talk about it most, is by saying we train every member of the team. But that doesn't mean that if you're an individual who serves on the tech team or serves on the computer team or serves as a vocalist, that you can't just come by yourself. Of course you can. So no matter if you're serving on a team right now and you're coming with your whole church of 20 team members, or you're an individual who's like, I just want to grow. I want to be in the greenhouse. I want to come. No one else will go with me. We want to see you there. So you can get your tickets as an individual or as a group at overflowworship.com. And also, guys, if you are not on a worship team and you just love to sing and worship, the worship night is for you. So I'm just going to chronologically walk you through the weekend really quick. So October 8th, 2020 in Wilmer, Minnesota, you come to the church, Living Hope, at 7 p.m. for the Overflow Worship Night. This night is for all full weekend conference ticket holders, but it's also open to the public. So you can hop on the website and buy a ticket for $5 and come on Friday only and just worship with us. It'll be me and Hope Darst. My friend E.B. Cole will be there, an amazing band, and just an incredible night of worship. And you don't have to do anything. You don't have to lead it. You don't have to run it. You don't have to fix anything. You just come. So whether you're a full weekend ticket holder, and that's included in your conference ticket to come Friday, or you just want to come and worship, this is for you. You can get tickets online for the worship night. You can get them at the door as well. And then Saturday, October 9th, is for the entire worship team. So whatever your role is, we have something for you. And the classes and sessions, I'm going to talk about them today. So I've taken a really long time to lead up to the topic for today, but it's all about the conference sessions. So I'm going to give you a little sneak peeks. I've never done this before. I just usually, we post them on the website, but we don't talk a ton about them. And I think we should be, because we're excited about them. So here we go. I'm going to dive into a little bit more detail of what Saturday is going to look like. So we start at 8 a.m. and there are main sessions throughout the day. So we have 3 main sessions and we have keynote speakers. So our first main session is all about, just this idea that there is a slippery slope of discontentment. And our presenter is going to be talking about what that means and what that looks like and how to avoid that, right? And so these main sessions during the day are about spiritual growth, leadership. There's worship in every main session led by Hope Darst and myself. And it's just going to be such an amazing time for us to all be together in one room, learning together, worshiping together, growing together. So starting at 8 a.m. is our first main session, and then there are 2 additional main sessions scattered throughout the day. And then in between, we have what we call our breakout sessions. And I'm just going to run down a few of the titles because they're really incredible. So one of them is 4 Simple Habits for Turning Down the Noise. And this one's led by one of our keynote speakers, Clay Scroggins. And it's based around his book, How to Lead in a World of Distraction. If you haven't read it yet, grab it because it is so, so good. But it's not a prerequisite for the class, okay? So you're not going to be lost if you haven't read the book. This is just an incredible session for people who are in leadership, anybody who just is feeling like there's a lot of chaos around them right now and they're trying to figure out how to manage it. This is for you. We also have another session called Technically Translating Hymns for Your Context. Now, this is a question I get often, and so I'm going to be teaching this class along with my good friend Josh Wah, and we're just going to be breaking it down and saying, okay, here's a whole bunch of hymns. We'll probably, take some ideas from the class, and we're going to talk about how to translate them, work them into your context. So whatever that is, whether it's traditional or contemporary, or maybe working it into a set, things like key signatures and just lots of different topics and concepts that we're going to discuss in this session. And so that's another great one that I'm excited about. There's another one that Hope Darst is going to be teaching called Building a Kingdom-Focused Team. And this session is, if you're struggling with unity in your team or, getting members to jump onto the team or maintaining a certain number of team members or enough people to rotate in and out, this session is for you. And she's going to lay down the foundations and just some concepts for you to consider when working to build your team. There's another one called Leading Your Band with Clarity that's going to be taught by my friend McKendry Tucker, who's coming in from Nashville as well. And, he comes at it from the band perspective. And so as somebody who's leading the band, not necessarily like a musical director, because I know a lot of the churches we work with, you don't work within that capacity. You have, you're the worship leader and the band leader most likely. And so how can we do that with clarity and excellence? And again, as with all of our sessions, guys, we run them as, very relatable. We keep the classes small so that you can ask questions. You can bring your issues and concepts and different things that you're facing, and there will be time to ask questions in class. And so we want to integrate those into our classes so that they're really relevant and applicable for you. And another session is Leading a Value-Driven Ministry, and that's taught by one of our keynote speakers, Mike Harland. And this one is just another great leadership team opportunity for you as a leader and any team member, really, even if you're not the leader, to go and, learn about, okay, how do we keep things value-driven, and how do we come together as a team and work together as a team and stay together as a team, and what does that look like? And, some of these classes, they're so good, we're going to offer them twice, so you don't have to choose. But those first few that I just mentioned, those are all happening at the same time. So you'll choose one of those, and then we go to our next section. And some of those will be taught again, so you can pick a different one and make sure that you get to as many as you want. Now, one of the things that we're also doing every breakout section is we're having a Breathe Ministry break room. And so if you just need an hour to sit and reflect and journal and pray instead of going to a class, we are making space for that for you. And I'm so excited about that. So another session for our tech team, our tech leaders, how to select the right microphone for your church. Now, this is a really cool session. taught by Ben Stowe. Ben is one of our great friends from NLFX Pro. And this one is going to be a session that really runs down the microphones that are great for church context and why. You'll get to hear them. We'll have a great singer in there to demonstrate them for you. And then Ben's going to talk about concepts to get those microphones Sunday ready, which is so invaluable. We want to come alongside of the needs that you're facing. And guys, when I go into churches and do workshops, which is something that I love to do, and I do it often, where a church will call and say, hey, can you come teach our team? Yes, I can. And so I'll go on a Saturday or for a Friday, Saturday, and we'll do sessions that really apply to your context. But these are the types of questions that I get. And so what we do is I take those questions and I bring them to my Overflow Worship Conference teaching team, and we figure out ways to make classes that address those issues. So this is one of the ones that I'm super excited about is this microphone one. Another session, bringing the latest worship songs to your context. So we had hymns, but now we're going to talk about the contemporary songs, and that's taught by EB and Shane Cole. And they have a vast experience of working with bands, EB from the vocal perspective and Shane from the instrumentalist perspective. And so they're going to talk about translating those songs and, what that looks like and just practically applying them to your context. So bring your questions to that one. Another tech session we're offering is live streaming for the long term. Now, this one I'm super excited about as well. I'm excited about all of them. Can you tell? Because they're going to be so good. Is taught by Ben Stowe from NLFX Pro. We want to provide you with the tools you need to bring all of the information back to your church leadership team, whether it's your board, your elder board, or your pastor, or just your worship team as a whole, with excellent questions and information to bring to them in order to help you come to a decision about how to live stream for the long term. And so there'll be questions to ask and things to think through that will help you determine a direction. And so this is one of those sessions where, yes, you can bring your questions, but also Ben's going to be talking about the concepts that you need to consider and some budget ideas of maybe like a small, medium, and large sized church and some of the issues and things that you need to consider when you're addressing, live streaming and the tech that you need, the equipment that you need. And so this is just going to be an incredible conversation that you will want to send somebody from your tech team to for sure. Now, we're doing something new this year in the afternoon, and it's really special. One of the things that we've heard from people in the past is, hey, I wish the sessions were longer. And actually, we've even heard it from our presenters because they feel like, oh, it's so much to try to cram into 1 hour. So guess what? Dun, dun, dun. Our afternoon sessions are called intensives. And these sessions are 1 hour and 45 minutes, so just shy of 2 hours. And guys, it's a time for you to sit and be in a class for a little bit longer, learn a little bit more, maybe ask a few more questions, but also we really tried hard to make the pace of this day a little bit slower because our theme is breathe and rest and pause. So if we rush you through the day from session to session, it doesn't really help, right? And so we want to give you an opportunity to actually take a slower pace. And so this intensive longer session provides that opportunity. So one of our intensives is called Building a Team Foundation. Now, this session is for the team who feels like they're starting over, maybe post-pandemic, or maybe because of a church transition, a leadership transition, or because your team has had great turnover. Maybe you have a lot of students who have graduated. And so now you constantly, every 4 years, feel like you're starting over. Maybe you're a youth leader and you have this constant, it's an obstacle. It's a joy, right? Because you're training and sending, but it's also an obstacle for you as the stationary leader to try and retrain these people every few years. And so whatever category you fit in, if you feel like you're starting over or you're just wanting to build that solid foundation, this session is for you. So Josh Waugh is going to address what it looks like to set up those pillars of foundation, both practically, foundationally, from just a structure standpoint, but also practically, musically, all of those things, because there's time in this hour and 45 minutes. The next one, the intensive, is taught by Ryan Zimmer, and it's called Fire Prevention, Communication, and, just really, here's the premise with this one, guys. So fire prevention is kind of funny. We want to catch your eye with that one. But basically, it's communication and preparation. So how can we lay a foundation within our tech team for structures that allow us to be successful and prevent those Sunday morning fires, right? Who has heard week after week after week, the sound system all of a sudden doesn't work. It worked at rehearsal, or, the computer is malfunctioning. It worked the other night. Those kinds of little mini fires that happen in the tech realm on Sunday morning, what do we do to prevent those before they start? So Ryan Zimmer from Advanced Ministry Technologies is going to be teaching that class, and it's going to be really good. He's really good at what he does, and he has some amazing ideas and systems and strategies for you, which I cannot wait for you to hear. Another one of our one of our intensive sessions in the afternoon is taking your seasoned band to the next level. Now, this is taught by myself, Shane Cole, E.B. Cole, and McKendry Tucker, all four of us, each on our own instrument, taking you as a band to the next level. So what does that look like? Well, instrumentally, foundationally, there's so many things that, as a band, maybe you're just like, okay, I feel like we're stuck. We're in a solid place, but we're stuck and we want to grow. We want to play better together. We want to grow together. We want to know our instruments better. This session is for you, and it's for the whole band. So, whatever instrument you are, or if you're a vocalist, we're going to address all of that in this session kind of as a cohesive unit. And that's something we've never done before in a breakout, and I'm really pumped about that one. Another one of our intensives, there's 5 of them. So the fourth one is Sound Tech Training 101. Now, this one is cool because we hear this from people a lot. Okay, I've got a new sound tech. How do I train them? How do I, bring them along? And so this intensive session is about learning the basics that every sound tech should know. Okay. And you're also going to walk away with some key questions to ask your worship leader so that you can work with more efficiency, more excellence. And you know what? If you're experienced in the sound tech realm, you might pick up a few new tricks too. So the premise of this session is for the new sound tech. So worship leaders, if you have a brand new one, bring them along because we're going to train them. Yay. And we're going to send them away with some tools to set them up for success, to continue to learn from you and in your environment. The last intensive in the afternoon is a Breathe Ministry break room, but this one's a little different. It's going to be guided by Pastor Paul Vasilko, and he is an Overflow Worship Conference, long-term alumni. He's been at every single one. He gets a prize for being at every single one, drumming, teaching, supporting, grabbing water bottles from the grocery store. He's just such an amazing friend of our family's. But he is going to be leading just kind of a guided ministry time with a devotional and some questions. But you'll have a lot of time to sit and just be and reflect. But this will be a guided spiritual encouragement time as well. And, another one of the sessions I forgot about, which I just forgot to mention earlier, but I'm super excited about it, is Healthy Pastor and Worship Leader Relationship. Now, this is taught also by Paul Vasilko and additionally by Ryan Zimmer. And the cool thing about this one is that they are going to be just talking about strategies and ideas, but also from their experience, what it looks like to have a healthy pastor and worship leader connection and relationship between you, and how to support and champion for one another. So that is a session happening earlier in the day. It's not an intensive, but it's one I've wanted to do for a lot of years, and I'm really excited to have these 2 guys teaching it. So guys, as you can see, we're just trying to do our best to address the issues that we're hearing from people in the church. And, in our main sessions, Clay Scroggins, Mike Harland, and myself will all be talking directly to you about how to live life in a healthy way as a ministry leader, each from a different perspective. Talking about Mike Harlan talking about the slippery slope of discontentment, and Clay Scroggins talking about keeping your soul sane in seasons of change. And I will be talking about the truths of Psalm 46 and how we can just hang on to those in all seasons of our lives, and how we can run our circumstances through the light of Scripture and what that looks like for the long term in our lives. So that's the overview of all the sessions. I know I just dumped a whole bunch of information on you, but I know there are people out there who want the info, like you want to know. And so there's a little bit of insider info about these sessions, guys. It's going to be good. And all the session titles, all the breakout session descriptions are on our website at overflowworship.com. When you click that little button that says Overflow Worship Conference, it'll take you to the page. It'll give you the schedule. It'll give you FAQs, watch a promo video, everything you need to know, ticket prices, purchase your ticket, all of it's there. Now, if you need something, you have a question, you can reach out to my team, 320-200-9684, and one of them will be happy to chat with you and answer your questions. You can also reach out to us, info@overflowworship.com, or you can find us on socials at Overflow Worship Official. If you want to contact me directly, you can find me on socials at Andrea Olson Music. Friends, do whatever you can do, whether it's you, 20 people from your team, 2 people from your team, 100 people from your team, whatever it looks like, get there, because it's going to be an incredible time of pressing pause, taking a deep breath, and being refilled and set up to thrive in the days, weeks, and months of ministry ahead. We love you guys. We're praying for each person who's going to be at the conference. And as we close, I'm just going to pray us out, and I encourage you to grab your tickets, and we will see you there. So Lord, I thank you so much for every single person who's listening to this podcast, and I thank you for every single person that's going to come. God, we set this up all for your glory. We don't want any of the glory. We want it all to go to you. Every single part of this training and these tools, and all we're trying to do is to be excellent for you, God. But we don't strive for excellence so that people will look at us. We do it so that they aren't distracted by us, and so that we point them to you even better. So God, I pray for each person wherever they're at, whether they're in the depths of despair or on the highest mountaintop, that you will speak to them and bring them to a place that is filled with your peace. And God, I pray that you will bless their journey as they try to work out the logistics of getting to the conference, and that you will pave the way for them to get there, God. And I just thank you so much for all that you're going to do. We surrender every part of the conference to you. It's all for you and your glory. And we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. We'll see you all on October 8th and 9th in Wilmer, Minnesota. And until next time.
You've been listening to the Overflow Worship Podcast. If you enjoy our podcast, please take a moment and leave us a 5-star rating and a written review, which helps us reach more people. New episodes are released every other Monday. So until next time, thank you for listening.